Adam lived for 930 years, and there were born to him 30 sons and 30 daughters. And when he was 930 years old, he fell sick and sent for all his children and for their children also, saying, "Come and let me see you before I die." They all gathered therefore at the door of his dwelling, saving Cain, who was a wanderer upon the face of the earth. But Seth was the eldest of those that came, and he was the most beloved son of Adam and Eve. And Seth said to his father, "Father, what is the matter with you?" And Adam answered, "Great pain and sickness is upon me." And his children said, "What mean you by pain and sickness?" For yet no one had died upon the earth except Abel, whom Cain slew. Then said Seth, "Father, is it because you long after the garden and desire the fruit of it? If it be so, command me, and I will go to the gate and cast dust upon my head and weep and pray, and God will send his angel, and it may be he will suffer me to bring you some of the fruit of the garden, and you shall eat it and recover." Eve also wept and said, "My lord Adam, give me the half of your disease, and let me bear it for you, because it is through my fault that this evil has come upon you." Then said Adam, "I will tell you what you shall do, even you and my son Seth. You shall go to the garden and pray there as you have said, and ask the angel to give me some of the oil of mercy that flows from the tree of life, and bring it to me that I may anoint my body with it and be eased from my pain." So Eve and Seth departed and went towards the garden, and as they were going through the woods, a wild beast leaped out and attacked Seth. And Eve was terrified and cried out, "Alas, alas, what will become of me at the last day? Surely all that have done evil will curse me, saying, Woe unto Eve, because she kept not the commandment of God." And she cried out upon the wild beast, "How wast thou not afraid to fight against the image of God? How is thy mouth opened against him? Dost thou do not remember that God put thee in subjection to us?" And the beast spake with a man's voice, and said, "What have we to do with thy weeping and complaints? How was it that thy mouth was opened to eat of the fruit? Accuse me not, lest I begin to accuse thee." Then said Seth to the beast, "Shut thy mouth, be silent, dare not to touch the image of God." And the beast answered, "Thee will I obey, O Seth." And it fled and left him wounded, and went back to its den. So Eve and Seth went on to the garden and wept before the gate, beseeching God to send them the oil of mercy for Adam. And God sent Michael the archangel to them, who said, "Seth, thou man of God, weary not thyself with making supplication for the oil of mercy, for it cannot be given to thee now. But when the times are fulfilled, then shall come one who shall anoint thy father with that oil, and he shall rise up and return to the garden, he and all his seed. And the evil heart shall be taken from them, and a new heart shall be given them to understand that which is good, and God shall dwell in the midst of them, and they shall be his people. But now go back to thy father, for his end is near, even within 3 days, and tell him these words, and watch what shall come to pass when he is taken from thee." They returned therefore to Adam and told him, and he groaned and said, "Alas, O Eve, what is this that thou hast done, to bring upon us the dominion of death? Now therefore call together our children and our children's children, and tell them concerning our sin, from first to last." So when they were assembled, Eve spoke to them, and told them the whole story of how Satan came to the serpent, and taunted it for paying homage to Adam and Eve, forasmuch as they were neither so beautiful nor so wise as itself. And he persuaded the serpent to let him speak through its mouth. And at the hour when the angels go up to the heavens to worship God, the serpent slipped over the wall and found Eve by the tree of knowledge. And of what happened after that, until the time when they were cast out of the garden. And when she ceased speaking, her children departed, will visit the creature which his hands have made. Now therefore go and pray to him until I give up my spirit to him that gave it. For we know not how we shall meet him, whether he will yet be wroth with us, or whether he will turn and have mercy upon us. She went out therefore, and fell upon the ground, and prayed a long time. Will visit the creature which his hands have made. Now therefore go and pray to him until I give up my spirit to him that gave it. For we know not how we shall meet him, whether he will yet be wroth with us, or whether he will turn and have mercy upon us. She went out therefore, and fell upon the ground, and prayed a long time. And at last the angel of mankind came to her and said, Rise up, Eve, for Adam thy husband is departing out of this life, and is going to meet him that made him. Eve therefore arose and looked up into the sky, and she saw a chariot of light coming, drawn by 4 shining eagles, and angels on either side escorting the chariot. And when it came above the place where our father Adam lay, it stayed. And the angels came bearing censers, and they stood about it, and lighted their censers, and the smoke of the incense rose up and hid the firmament. And the angels bowed and worshipped, saying, Holy One, have mercy, for he is thine image, and the work of thy hands. Also Eve beheld 2 great and fearful ones standing in the heavens, and she was afraid and called upon Seth, saying, Rise up, O Seth, and come to me, and behold that which no eye of man hath looked upon. So he came to her, and she said, Seest thou the 7 heavens open, and thy father Adam lying upon his face, and the holy angels interceding for him? She said moreover, Who are the 2 dark ones that stand praying for thy father? And Seth answered, They are the sun and the moon, who are entreating the Most High for my father Adam. And Eve said, Where then is their light, and why is their aspect black? And he said, They cannot shine in the presence of the light of all things. Therefore is their light departed from them. Now as Seth was speaking to his mother, behold, the angels blew with the trumpets, and fell on their faces, and cried with a loud voice, Blessed be the glory of the Lord over all his works, for he hath had compassion upon Adam, the work of his hands. Then came one of the seraphim, having 6 wings, and caught up the soul of Adam, and bare it to the lake of pure water, which is on the north side of Eden, and washed it before the face of God. And the Most High commanded him to deliver it unto Michael the archangel, that he should bear it into paradise until the day of the visitation of all things. After that, the holy archangel entreated the Most High concerning the body of Adam. And God commanded all the angels to come before him, every one in his order, and they gathered themselves together, bearing censers and trumpets and vials full of odors. And the Lord of hosts went up, and the great winds before him, and the cherubim flying upon the winds, and the angels of heaven round about him. And they bore up the body of Adam, and carried it into the garden. And all the trees of the garden bowed and swayed, and gave forth their odors. And because of the greatness of that sight, and of the sweetness of the odors of paradise, all the sons of Adam, and all that were on the earth, were cast into a deep sleep, saving Seth only. Now as the body of Adam lay in paradise, God said, O Adam, why didst thou transgress my commandment? For if thou hadst kept it, they that persecute thee would not have rejoiced against thee. Nevertheless, I say unto thee that hereafter I will turn their joy into sorrow, and thy sorrow into joy. Then the angels brought shrouds of silk and fine linen, and God commanded Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael, and they wrapped up the body of Adam therein, and anointed it with sweet odors. And the Lord said, Bring hither also the body of Abel. For since the day when Cain slew him, the body of Abel had not been buried, because Cain often sought to hide it, but the earth would not receive it, until the dust that was first taken out of her and made into a body, that is, the body of Adam, should be restored to her. So the body of Abel was brought and wrapped in grave clothes like that of Adam, and they were both of them buried in the place from which God took the dust when he formed Adam at the first. And the angels dug the grave and covered it in. And when this was done, God called to the body, saying, "Adam, Adam." And the body answered, "Here am I, Lord." And the Lord said, "I said unto thee, Dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. Behold, now I promise thee that in the last days I will raise thee up yet again out of the dust, even thee and all thy seed with thee." And God sealed the tomb that no man should touch it until 6 days were fulfilled, and the rib which was taken out of Adam should be given back to him. After these things, Eve awoke out of her sleep and was troubled because she knew not what had become of the body of Adam. And she prayed, saying, "Lord, as thou didst make me out of the flesh of Adam, and as I was with him in the garden, and after we were cast out, I was never parted from him. So now, I beseech thee, suffer me to be buried with him, and let no man part us asunder." And on the 7th day after the death of Adam, Eve was thus praying. And when she had ended her prayer, she looked up into heaven and smote her breast and said, "Lord God of all things, receive my spirit." And so she gave up her soul to God. And immediately the angels came and took her body and buried it in the place where the bodies of Adam and Abel were laid.
If you enjoyed this story and looking forward to more amazing ones, please hit the like and subscribe button and let us know in the comments what country you're watching this from.